these timelines expire, the ones you've given us, 6 months, 9 months, 3 months, 30 days, if they expire and we see no change, would you wait for the youth to start pushing for you to, out of government? And also, would you hit to the pressure that right now we are actually seeing 14 Kenyans have moved to the courts actually asking for the ouster of you, Mr. President? What do you have to say about that?
Thank you very much. The 14 Kenyans who have gone to court are exercising their democratic right. That is how free this country is. That you can actually go to any court and demand whatever you want in court. That is the taste of the freedom that I stand for in Kenya. And I want to promise you that those Kenyans who have gone to court for whatever reason, they are free to do it, and the courts are free to make whatever decision that is constitutional. You have asked me, I think, 10 questions. Let me try and answer some of them. Number one, you have asked me, the people who went to the streets, they did not carry the color of any political party. That is correct. But remember, they carried the flag of Kenya. And that is why I'm saying, let us put the interest of the people of Kenya first. That is why I am saying this broad-based government must be a government that must do, at the very least, 3 things. And I stated them in my address to the nation. Number 1 is the subject of integrity, which you have spoken very clearly about. Dealing with the challenge of corruption. I have made very specific interventions. I have suggested very specific interventions on how to deal with the challenge of corruption. I have said we must change the Evidence Act so that corruption cases doesn't take 5-10 years. That is what happens today. That we should be able to conclude corruption cases in 6 months. I will be making the proposal to Parliament. I hope Parliament agrees with me so that we can deal with the challenge and monster of corruption firmly and decisively. Number 2, I have given my undertaking to the judiciary. In fact, I had an engagement with the Chief Justice a few days ago on my support, on my administration support for the judiciary. It is demonstrable. When I came into office, I made sure that the judiciary has sufficient resources to be able to discharge their mandate, to be able to deal with corruption cases, to be able to deal with all the other cases. In fact, I am the president that has sworn in the highest number of judges in the shortest time in Kenya to facilitate the judiciary to be able to discharge their mandate. Because it is said, justice denied is justice, justice delayed is justice denied. And you can ask from members of the judiciary my support for the judiciary. In fact, when I came into office, there were 6 judges that have been denied their right to be appointed. I appointed them the first day when I got into office to demonstrate my commitment to the judiciary. Let me also say the following, that on the subject of corruption, I am very clear in my mind, and I will mobilize resources that are available. I will mobilize every resource that is available to deal with the challenge of corruption. Number 2, I also said this new administration must deal with the issue of making sure that we create jobs in Kenya by making sure that we don't import the things that we can manufacture in Kenya. Number 3, I said this new administration I'm setting up must deal with the challenge of making sure that tax expenditure, we spend 400 billion shillings every year of taxpayers' money, paying companies, paying institutions, claiming tax refunds, claiming VAT refunds in a process that is not thoroughly clear. And I have said that going forward, we have to deal with this problem. So I have laid out a clear roadmap on what the administration I've just appointed must achieve. I know you have said we must respect the Constitution, which we must. And I gave my undertaking to the country that there will be no disappearance of Kenyans. I gave that undertaking. There will be no Kenyans in Rivayala. There will be no Kenyans in Tana River. There was a time we had 30-something bodies of Kenyans in rivers. That will never happen under my watch. And I have said this with clarity. If there is any Kenyan who has disappeared, I want people to step forward and say, Kenyan so-and-so has disappeared. I would be very happy to deal with it. Because under my administration, I have said there will be no disappearance of Kenyans again. There will be no extrajudicial killing of Kenyans. I have said that with clarity. And let me also say the following, that as we go forward, we must be truthful. When the Kenya National Human Rights stepped forward with fake news and said 200 Kenyans had been massacred in Githurai, it was a flat lie. I mean, surely. I mean, a whole institution that is supposed to be self-respecting, paid for by the government of Kenya, how can they go and tell the country that 200 Kenyans had been killed, which was utter, falsehood, I hope that's not the organization you want to defend. You cannot defend an organization that runs on fake news. And I will call them out, as Kenyans should call them out. We must stick to what is true. 42 Kenyans died, very unfortunately, in the events of the last 1 month. They shouldn't have died. Some of them in situations where the police were involved. Some of them in situations where criminals were involved. Some of them in different situations. All those situations are under investigations. And I have given undertaking that the government of Kenya will support those families even as we get to the bottom of what happened in those situations. I have also undertaken that there are Kenyans who unfortunately lost property. We are also going to support them because it was nothing of their doing that occasioned all that happened to happen.